So, hello guys. Just a second. Let me just starting the live stream, and I need to do something before that, and then we can start. So, no, that's not this. I think it's here. Yeah, just a second. People are getting in, and for some reason, this isn't working. Mm, yeah, just a second. So, okay, let me see if I can find it fairly easy here. Like, oops, I cannot. Wait, yeah, let me. I asked the help for the mods because, yeah, I need to get some. We have like a little script that we use so that we can like not lose track, because this is a common thing with me at least. Like, I'm not sure of you guys, but when I start doing something, and sometimes I go like I start doing it and I get sidetracked, and uh, and then when I get sidetracked, I go like I do all sorts of things. So yeah, uh, I'm asking so the mod so they can send me the link so that I can see and go watching over it. So, but yeah, let me start. So, what I'm gonna be doing is welcome you guys. Thanks a lot for staying here with me and come along with this journey about doing our great and dearly Meteor University. And well, my name is Gabriel Gruba, as you might know it. I am the developer advocate here at Meteor, and yeah, if possible, please come now and subscribe to us on YouTube, give a like on this stream, and if possible, follow us on Twitch, on Twitter, and LinkedIn. You can use, I think you can use we have iSocial, no, a bank social command. Not sure if this is working here on YouTube, but normally in yeah, I don't think it's working here on YouTube. But yeah, you can get our socials. If you search Meteor.js everywhere, you'll find us. Please give us a follow. And yeah, let's move on with our we're starting with our session. Well, before we start, and now I just realized we have one more thing. If you want to ask any question, please ping me, ping us the mods, ping anyone. Just write down what you need, preferably on the chat, because then we can see it and they can ping me, and we can get along and get a fun and nice experience overall. So you can always say anything you want. You can always ping me asking questions with any content, and you can always say like, yeah, I'm listening to this song now, what's your thoughts on it, and we can keep discussing it and going on. So today in this session, we're going to be doing the courses. So I'm gonna be, let's see, I think I'm gonna be using my own, I'm not sure what I should be using. I'm gonna be using my own like work account. I think should be fine. I think I've used Twitter before, but yeah, yeah, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, let me go back. Let's come back. I chose the wrong account. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, Meteor University. Yeah, I need to. Yeah, I'm in the dashboard mode, and I'm not sure how to leave this part. Ah, yeah. Let me. Wow, oof. Sign out. Yeah, let me start now. It's gonna be the Twitter version. I think it's gonna be safe for users. Yeah, I have created our account. I've just like started it, and yeah, what we're gonna be doing today um, is doing our courses. So we have a basic course in Meteor.js, the famous Meteor 101. We can start learning it. And my objective today is doing the start of Meteor, seeing how we did in the past, and then we try to move it to a greater 2.15 version and try to check it how it's going to look like on 3.0. It's our big release of this year. So hope everyone is excited as I am, and let's get started. I haven't ever started this course, so I don't know anything. I know things about Meteor, but I haven't seen this university course, so it's gonna be a really nice and entertaining experience. I hope. Um, well, so for those that are arriving now, we are going to be working with Meteor, and I'm not sure with other technologies. From what I've seen, it's going to be using Tailwind CSS as well, and I guess that's mostly it. So, well, let's get started. So, like, yes, before we start. So, starting with Meteor. Okay, there's a starting with Meteor repository. Oh, it's from Fred. Nice. Refers to a lesson. Okay. Mm-hmm. The community loves over there. Nice. So yeah, they have a repository that we can check. So for example, there is the Hello Meteor, and it's created from CLI. So for example, yeah, nice. I think I have understood what we're going to be doing. So let me go here to see desktop work, Meteor tests. We have here our own. Let me create this folder called University Uni Uni, and let's get started. Right, introduction on Meteor. You guys can hear it. That's another question. Yeah. So let me see if I can do something about it. I'm not sure if there's settings that I can do. Yeah, let me do another test. I'm not gonna be using my AirPods for now, and let's see if it shows the sound. No, no, isn't working. Let me think about it. Yeah, let's see if this works now. And what? Can you guys hear it? Oh, let me think. I have an idea. Uh, if I use You can hear it. Let's see. You can hear it now. You hear it? Let me do differently. I'm gonna be. Mm, and let's try it again. Can you hear it now? I'm just poking the settings and trying to make it work. It's working. Yeah. Let's see the comments. If someone is saying something. Mm, yeah. I just like poked around the mic settings. I think. Let me try the. What I will try is change how it's the sounds playing. So I'm gonna be using the speakers, and the mic is gonna be the air. Sorry, guys. And so let's see. Now you can hear it. Ah, yeah. Today I'm not using the OBS as usual, so mostly that's why, guys. That's why we are trying to make this work. Let's see if there is a sound setting to run this. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see if it doesn't get it right. No, it doesn't get it. Let's think. Let's think. The and let's try it again. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit poking until we find the way. Oh, I have an idea. I have a great idea. Let me put it this the mic to be there. Mac, no, yes, the mic's gonna be there. Pods ones, and we're gonna be trying to hear using the Mac one and studio pods. So let's try that like this. It's better, guys. You can hear it, or it's too loud. I don't have the next two mics. Yeah, yeah, really. Yeah, let's. Oh, I think I can do. No, that doesn't have a mic. That's complex. Complex. Yeah. Mm, yeah, I don't think it's working. Yeah, they said to me to use the try present changing the presentation. Let me try it again. Oh, we have it. No, share tab instead. Yeah, we got an issue on that because I cannot share due to yeah. What we can do? Let's see if this can works. Yeah, let's see if it's working now. Like I'm gonna be doing the Yeah, what I'm gonna be doing is gonna be like this. Let's see if it works fine.
Hello, this is the first section of the course starting with Meteor. And on this section, we're going to see what we need to install.
Yeah, so it's working. We got it to work, but it's gonna be like a little giggling. So we're gonna be like coming from forth and front. So yeah, get ready, guys. I think it's gonna be okay. Hope and yeah. So let's get started. We're gonna be doing this, and then I'm gonna be trying to remember. So if for some reason I don't remember to change the screen to show my code later on, I do it again. So yeah, let's do the watch the videos. It's gonna be almost a reaction like video and stream, and then we're gonna be trying to change what's wrong and what is correct. So let's get started.
Hello, this is the first section of the
Is it
course
loud? Is it
starting
it's
with
okay?
Meteor. And on this section, we're going to see what we need to install and run Meteor applications, what Meteor is, and what are the benefits of using it. And then we're going to create and explore our very first Meteor app. So let's get started. Hello. On this lesson, we're going to install Meteor command line, so we'll be able to create, manage, and run Meteor applications. And to do that, we just have to go to the Meteor docs, and then there's the install page right here. And you can see that Meteor supports OS X, Windows, and Linux. And on this course, I will be using OS X. The only thing required to install Meteor is Node.js 8 or newer. And if you don't have Node.js in your machine, you can just go to nodejs.org and install it from here. Or another great option is to install the Node version manager, because in this way, you can keep different versions of Node in your machine. In my case, I already have Node.js installed, and to check that, you can just run node -- version, and we can see that I have the version 14 installed here. And now I will go to the documentation page and copy this command that is just npm install -g meteor and paste it right here. So this command, it's going to download Meteor, extract, and set it so it will be able to run in your local machine. And when you need to update Meteor, you can use the Meteor CLI itself. You don't need to run this command anymore. So we will just speed up the video a little bit because it can take a while depending on your machine or in your internet connection. And it is done.
Can takes like
So
it
to
takes
check
a line
if
with
Meteor is
really.
really installed, we can run the command.
Yeah, this is a thing that we need to start working on Meteor. But yeah, I guess this is actually what it is. And yeah, for those that are watching, yeah, that's a little bit sad, right? Like not sad, but it happens to be a little bit slow. But nowadays it's faster. So, but it's fun to not fun, but it's nice to see that we made it faster nowadays. But it's not as fast as we wanted to, but it can be faster. So it's nice to see improvements from the past.
Meteor. And yeah, this is the expected output. Let me clear this command line and run it again so you can see it more clearly. Meteor. Yeah, so it says that I'm not in a Meteor project. That's correct. And also you can see some instructions to create a new project, and there's an example of how to do that. And we can also run another command just to get to know a bit more this command line, that is Meteor help. And you will see a list of available commands right here. We have, for example, Meteor run, that it will run the project in local development. And we have like Meteor create to create a new project. We have Meteor add when you need to add a Meteor package. And we have remove when you need to remove a package. So we will go deeper on this command during the course. And now we are good to go to the next video.
Nice. Yeah, it still feels the same. Let's see what's the complementary content. requires. Yeah, now from 3.0, this part is gonna be needed to change, I guess. From now on, we support ARM support. We have ARM support for Linux, so the same way is only 2.5.1 onward. Linux ARM is as well only 3.4 beta onward. So yeah, exactly. Feature supports. Yeah, exactly. Installation. Yeah, it works exactly like this. Yeah, let's continue. Sure, I have Meteor installed. Let me install as the way that it asks to, because then we don't give ourselves errors. So let's, yeah, just a second. Yeah, I'm installing it. Yeah, now it's installing it here. Okay. Yeah, now I think it's here. So
Hello. On this lesson, we're going to understand what is Meteor and what are the benefits of using it. And you're going to start from Meteor docs. And it says that Meteor is a full-stack JavaScript platform for developing modern web and mobile applications. Meteor includes a key set of technologies for building connected client reactive applications, a build tool, and a created set of packages from the Node.js and general JavaScript community. Okay, we might have an idea now, but let's understand it better. So, Meteor is a full stack framework. That means that it will be present and it will help us in both sides, client side and server side. In the server, Meteor is built on top of Node.js, so we will have the server side JavaScript there. Meteor is also integrated by default with MongoDB, a NoSQL database. On the client side, we will have JavaScript there as well. And as we mentioned, we will be able to create web, mobile, and desktop applications. We can see the options here. So for web applications, we could use Blaze, that it was a framework created by the Meteor team. We can use React, Vue.js, or Svelte. And in this course, we will be using React, but you can find tutorials and documentation in Meteor docs to help you using Blaze, Vue, or Svelte. For mobile applications, you can use Cordova or React Native. Both are integrated with Meteor, and you can also create desktop applications using Electron. When you create a Meteor app, we don't need to be refreshing the browser to get the newest information. Meteor will build by default real-time applications. And to do that, Meteor is based on WebSockets and in a protocol called DDP. That means Data Distributed Protocol, and Meteor in fact created this protocol. So every time that a data changed in the backend, Meteor will propagate that change to the client side. And to do that, when we are loading data, we use publications. And a key part for this is the Minimongo. That is like a client data cache that Meteor uses. So every time you change something in the backend, Meteor will propagate this through WebSockets and DDP to the client side, and we'll put the data in Minimongo. So if you are using real-time capabilities on the client side, you will fetch your data from the Minimongo. We also have methods. So to send data from the client to the server side, we usually use methods. And we can also fetch data from the server side. If you don't use reactive data by any reason, you can use a method to just fetch that data. Another cool thing is shared JavaScript. So you might have JavaScript files and functions that you use in both sides, and we can reuse them very easily using shared JavaScript in Meteor. If you need to install a package, Meteor is totally compatible with NPM, so you can use any package from there. And Meteor has its own package manager called Atmosphere. So usually if there is a package that is totally integrated with Meteor, depends on the Meteor core or any specific feature of Meteor, that package will be in Atmosphere. But if it's a package, a common package used by the community, it will be in NPM and you can use both of them. And Meteor has really great packages, like the account package that gives you a ready-to-use authentication system, so you don't have to rebuild authentication anymore. For testing your application, Meteor has a WebDriver that will help you testing the reactivity data, and you can use Mocha and Chai to do that. But also Meteor is flexible. So if you need, for example, or if you want to use Jest to test your applications, you can do that without any problem. And if you want to create acceptance test using Cypress, you can also do it. In the data source, you can also use other databases. So if you want to use, for example, MySQL or Postgres, you can do that. Of course, you might lose a few things that Meteor provides you because like this real-time integration that Meteor has, it is available when using MongoDB, but Meteor will not limit you by any means. So you can communicate with different databases. Even for fetching data or communicating from the server to the client side, you can use REST API. So you can see how flexible Meteor is, and not only flexible, because like I mentioned before, we use methods to, for example, send data from the client to the server side. And there are packages from the community that transform these Meteor methods in a REST API. So you don't need to rewrite the methods using Express or something like that. If you don't want, you can just transform them in HTTP endpoints. Also, you can use GraphQL. So if you want to use Apollo, you can use it with Meteor without any issues. And in fact, there are a few packages from the Meteor community and from Meteor itself that will help you using Apollo with Meteor. So you finished developing your application, and now you have to build it and deploy it. So Meteor also came with a build tool. So you can use Meteor itself to build and bundle your application. And then you can use Galaxy to deploy your application. So Galaxy is a service built by the Meteor team, and it is built for Meteor. So it will help you scaling your application up or down. And there is also the Meteor APM that will help in monitoring your application and improving the performance. So even when you are deploying your application, Meteor is there to help you. But it will not limit you by any means. So you can also deploy your application in a Node.js server, any Node.js server, or in a Docker environment, deploying in AWS or something like that. So you are free to choose where do you want to deploy your application. Of course, Galaxy is the recommended way, but you are free to choose. So I hope you can understand what Meteor really is. And in the next lesson, we're going to see some real code and start practicing. So see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.
Nice. Yeah. Really nice content. Oh, it's a written part. Yeah, that's really nice.
Hey, on this video, we are going to create and explore our first Meteor app. And to do that, we are going to use the Meteor command line that we already installed. So you can open up your terminal, and I recommend you to create a folder to keep all the Meteor projects there. I already have one here, and I will run the command meteor create hello Meteor, And this command will create the project for us, and it will also create a folder with the same name of the project. When I run it, it will generate a boilerplate code, and we will have a look at this code, and it will set all the dependencies that Meteor needs and all the tools that Meteor needs. If it's the first time that you are running, it can take a bit longer. So it's done, and we can see a few instructions here. We can just enter the created folder called Hello Meteor and run the Meteor command to start our app. Okay, so let's have a look at the code that Meteor generated for us. So I opened WebStorm and I will open the project. Mine is inside dev, Meteor project, hello Meteor. It is loading. Then we can see that we have a bunch of folders here and we have a bunch of files. Let's have a look at them. The first folder is .meteor, and this folder, Meteor will take care of it, so we don't need to worry much about it. We have this local folder that Meteor will keep the local data and local cache. We can have a look at this file, the packages file. This is where we keep the Meteor packages that you are using on this application. So we can see all the package that Meteor already added for us and all the versions. And we usually don't change this file manually. When you run the commands Meteor add and Meteor remove, we can add and remove packages and they will be here. So we can see that if you go to the client folder and to the main JSX file, what we are doing here is when Meteor starts up, we will render a component from React. So we are using React on this application, and it is basically a React configuration. So when the application starts, we will render this React component. And this is defined in the package.json. So another important thing to have a look is this. We have the package.json to manage our scripts and dependencies. And we also have a Meteor configuration here. We define which is the main module for the client and for the server. So we were looking just to the main JSX file, and this is the entry point on the client side. So when you start your application on the client side, main.jsx will be the first loaded file. So if we go back there, we can see that it will render the app component. And if we go to the app component, we can also click in here. We can see where this file is in our project. And we can see that it is inside the imports folder. So again, main.jsx will be loaded automatically. And then when it is loaded, we are explicitly importing another file that is inside the imports folder. So this is how we manage what we want to load at what time in Meteor. So going back there, we have this app component. It is a simple React component, and it is showing the welcome to Meteor message. If we go back to the browser, we can see it right here. And you can see that we have a reload component and an info component. We will look into them just in a few minutes. So let's go back to the package.json and have a look at the server side. On the server side, we have the main.js inside the server folder. So this is the entry point on the server side. So let's have a look at this file. And we can see that we have, again, the function Meteor startup. And we have more functionalities here. We can see that we have a links collection. So remember that we're using MongoDB. And this first function is inserting title URL created at, and this is called right here. So if you understand what Meteor is doing when we start our application, is we are trying to find a link in the database, and if we don't have any, if it's equals to 0, we will insert those links. So we are calling the function that we defined right here. So we can see that we have the do the tutorial, follow the guide, read the docs, and discussions. So Meteor is doing all of that for us. So when we run our application, we could see those links here. So how we are showing these links? Again, I will go back to the client side right now. So in the app component, we have this info component. I will open it. So I will just jump to this part. So you can see here, learn Meteor, and this is what you can see on the browser right here. And we have the links, and we are mapping a link object to a list. So we are using the link ID, the link URL, and the link title. So this is what we are presenting here. So we can see that this is not a static text. We are fetching this from the database. And how we are fetching? We have this function right here. So we are declaring a variable called links. We have this React hook. We can see that it is being imported here from a package called React Meteor Data. And inside this hook, we are fetching the links collection. So we are just using the MongoDB API to find this data. So links collection.find.fetch. We are saving this to this variable, and then we render the result right here. And how we are fetching this data? If you look at this links collection, you might think that we are fetching it from the database, directly from MongoDB, and that's not the case. If you remember, when you see on the first lesson, we saw that we have MongoDB on the server side, and on the client side, on the UI side, we have something called MiniMongo. And MiniMongo is a client data cache. And because this is a skeleton app, if we check the packages file, we can see that there is this auto-publish package, and it was automatically included when we created our app. And because of this package, all of the data that we have on MongoDB, and on this case, the links collection, it is published automatically to Minimongo. So we have to remember that when we are on the UI side, on the client side, and you are fetching something from a collection, we are not fetching from MongoDB, but from Minimongo instead. And in the next lessons, we are going to understand how we can choose which data we want to publish to the client side, and we will remove that auto-publish package. But for the moment, we will keep it there. We can also have a look at this file. This is a file that is inside our project. It is in the API links. So if we go to imports API links, we can see that this is basically a MongoDB collection with the name links. Okay, I will go back to the app component. So we saw the info component that is showing those links. And we also have this hello component that is basically the counter. So if you remember, we have this counter that when we click, it will increase this counter. And this is only
Oops.
React.
Sorry,
We
guys.
have a counter and a set counter. We are using the use state hook from React. We defined an increment function. So when we call this function, it will set the counter and increment the counter. And this is handled in this way. We have a button. When we click in this button, we call the increment function. And right here, we are showing that counter. So just React, if you know React, this is totally fine. Okay, I will close it all because then we can do a quick recap of the files. I will start from the package.json. So again, here we define the entry points of our application in the client and in the server. So in the client, we have client main JSX, and this will run the app component that will handle all the other components. So we can see here that we have hello Meteor, and this is the title of our application. And we didn't have to import this HTML because Meteor will load it automatically. And if we change it here, you can also see that Meteor will keep our application in sync. So I will change the title to Hello Meteor, save it. And if you go back here, oh, oops, it is not running. So I will also show you how to run from WebStorm. We have this terminal tab, and I will run Meteor again. So this is, we will start our web server, our embedded MongoDB and everything. And as I already saved this, let me refresh. And we have here, hello Meteor. But I did a refresh, and I just want to show you that Meteor will sync our code and our browser. So I will change this welcome to Meteor. I will change to hello Meteor, and I saved. We can see that Meteor is refreshing and it is updated here. Hello Meteor. And you can also see, let me click here a few times. So it is 6. I will change it back to welcome to Meteor, save it, and it is updated. And Meteor is keeping the state of our application. So it is not reloading everything. So this is really good for developer productivity because it is very fast to keep your app in sync with the code that you just changed and the application that you are seeing in your browser. Okay, so client side is fine. I will close all of the files, go back to the package.json and see the server entry point again. So main.js, main.js. So what we are doing here, again, we are just inserting a few links because then we will be able to render them in the client side. And how do we know that we are really inserting this? We can open the NoSQL Buster to see what we have in our MongoDB database. So I will open mine from here, NoSQL Buster. And to access our database, so I'm using the free to try. To access our database, you can just go here to connect and connect from URI. And Meteor will run our MongoDB embedded, and the port is 3001. So you just have to access this way, MongoDB, localhost, and the port is 3001. I will click on connect. We can see the database here called Meteor. We can see a collection called links. I will double click. And when I did, NoSQL Buster already created a carry for us. I will just remove this to avoid the noise. So we just have the blinks.find. And here we can see the data that we have in our application. So we have the do the tutorial, follow the guide, read the docs, and discussions. And just to start showing something really cool from Meteor that we talked a lot in the previous lessons, that is the real time. So let me go back to the browser and I will just do this. I will change this do the tutorial inside the database. So I will actually just do this right here. I will show you the browser and my NoSQL Buster, because then you can see updating it in real time. So let me edit the do the tutorial. I will click right here with the right button and edit document. So I will just change here. So the new title will be Meteor tutorial. Okay. If I press Command Enter, it will run this query, and we can already see Meteor tutorial. So it's already updated. I will change it again because maybe you didn't see it. So I will change back to do the tutorial. Pay attention that we have here Meteor tutorial, and when I run it, it is updated automatically in the browser. So this is really cool, and we will go a bit deeper on this. We will recap everything that we saw. So stay with me because now the course will become a lot more interesting.
Yeah, that's nice. Let me just see if something is wrong. It explains somewhere along the. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see here. Just this one. Yeah, so a few things changed. So for those that are uh, yeah, okay. So they changed here already. So yeah, this is what I was going to say. Like, if we were to create and again or change this video, I would change that part, saying that we need to do the meter create using the dash dash prototype. So I can do it later with you guys, but again, that's the exactly what I said. Like maybe if we ever do this course again or add a video, I'm not sure what we can do. It's like uh, instead of just calling Meteor create hello Meteor, just call it with prototype and you'll be fine for the most part. And let's see if there's something else. I think for those that are like I'm full screen. I hate this. I guess now it's better. Um, for those that are starting out Meteor and learning what is Meteor and saw this, and when you join in the you create the Hello Meteor app using the let's do it again. Meteor create Hello Meteor prototype dash dash prototype. I think it creates a cool app, but it creates an app that's actually just using the subscriptions. So let me do this. Hello, Meteor prototype. That's here. I will show. Just let me see if it's actually what I'm saying. So if I go to the UI and go, yeah, exactly. So and let's see the server. Yes, it is. So let me show for. Hey Leo, how are you doing? Let me change it. I'll show my VS Code for a moment, and then we can follow on along the continue with our course. So let me present here. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. I will share a window. That's this one. I hope. Oh, nice. So for those that are wondering, in the video, Fred said that, and for those that are watching later, my name is Gabriel. I am the developer educator here at Meteor, and today I'm reviewing and I would say making it more correct for the current version of Meteor, and at the time that I'm speaking is Meteor 2.15, and it will be correct as well for those that are watching in Meteor 3.0. For those that are watching, the what Fred said just a few moments ago, he was using insert instead of insert async. And currently, if you're in the server, by what I mean is if you're in the server folder and you're using the server while running the server, you should be using the insert async and the counterparts async. So for example, here, if you saw the video, probably this video will be later after the video from Fred. This part is now async, and you should be adding async here because you're actually retrieving from the database and then doing the insertion later on. So yeah, this is a new part that was added later on. So if you're creating your Meteor app later than 2.8, I think it comes with this new section. Now it's using async, and as well the publish section is really important here. So yeah, Leo, I'm also really excited to Meteor 3.0. I'm not sure if you have the chance to try the Meteor Beta.4 that we launched yesterday. So I would recommend you going to go and check it out. And well, coming back from the topic, um, if you guys are watching later later and you're in 3.0, this will probably continue the same, so you can follow along the this beautiful course that we have, and it will be fine as well. And then we have the info part. Before we were using the use tracker, right? So we could call it like links. I'm gonna call it links to or link, and it would go like use tracker, and would do like this, right? And that's what we saw. But then, since we are just starting, uh, since we just are using the subscription part, you can use find that doesn't require the using the fetch, and it's actually reactive. So this is reactive. This links variable is reactive. So whenever it changes, as we did in the past, as we saw it, it will retrigger the re-render, and it will show what's the current state. What did you launch yesterday? Yeah, we launched Meteor 3.0 beta 4. Let me get the link here so that you can check it. Like it's in forums, and I think it's here. It's this one. So let me send it here. I think I'm allowed to. No, I'm not allowed to. Let me ask the mods to send this link. Yeah, I think this link should be working fine. Yeah, it is. So yeah, I've launched it yesterday, this version, the beta.4, and it has a lot of new features like ARM support and I'm support. It's for me the best feature. We have launched MongoDB 7 embed, so the Mongo that comes default with Meteor 7 now, and we solved a few issues that were like annoying and letting us like not continue with our work, and for many users was like a blocker to migrate to 3.0. So let's continue now. So the changes are now, if you're starting a Meteor project, you should be using the prototype flag and the dash dash prototype, and your project will start with this async in the server, and will require you to use async counterparts everywhere. When I say async, it needs to be awaited in order to be sync. It will return as a promise. So keep an eye out for those that are starting now and those that are watching later this video. And yeah, let's continue with our course. Let me open the project. Let me continue the course here. Let me find the video tab. I guess is yes, it's this one. Let's see. Yes, it's this one. Correct. Perfect. So we have an activity. Explore the changes. Yeah, exactly. So let's continue for the next part. So let me open here, and what I'm doing, and for those that are coming now and are still wondering, I'm watching the old Meteor University. Not old because it isn't that old. It's like from 1 year ago, but a few things has changed. And what I'm doing is I'm watching the video. I'm trying to see what's changed and what needs to be updated, and doing like a quick updated part. And that's why we are on YouTube. That because then it's easier to us to make a slice of it and cut it and remix it later into this part or in some other platform that we might use in the future. But it's easier to so that we can just add here like a section like lesson 20 or lesson 2b. That means that this part was updated with a revision. So that's what I was doing today. And so without further ado, let's continue our our stream here, watching our episodes. So this one is a little bit heavier. So what we're gonna do is watch it, and then I will try to like pinpoint the points where like make marks where it's outdated, and I will try to update it then later. So yeah, let's get started.
Hey, on this lesson, we're going to create a digital wallet. It will be a project named Meteor Wallet, and we will start by managing contacts because later we are going to send money and receive money from our contacts. But first, we need a way to manage them. So we will create a new collection, we will insert and fetch data, and in the end, we are going to deploy our application to Galaxy. Hey, so let's create our new project and its name will be Meteor Wallet. So open up your terminal and navigate to the right folder. I am already inside of mine. And right here, we will run the Meteor create command and pass the name of the project that will be Meteor Wallet. We run that, and that boilerplate that we explored in the last lesson will be generated again, but we will clean up our project as soon as we check that everything is all right. Okay, so we can now enter inside Meteor wallet and run the command Meteor. We could run Meteor or Meteor run. Both will start our application. So here it will start the web server, the embedded MongoDB, and it will be ready for us on the localhost port 3000. So let's see if it's already started. It's building yet. And let's refresh and try again. Oh, sorry. Let me type again. And yeah, it is started. So this is the same project as we saw before with the counter and all the links. But now we will clean up all this boilerplate code and start from scratch. So let's open WebStorm and I will open my project that is on the dev folder, Meteor projects, Meteor wallet that we just created. And then you can see all the files and folder that we saw before. And then we start cleaning up a little bit. So the entry point of this is the main JSX file. So if we go to the app component, we can see that we have all those other components right here. So I will delete this hello and info components, and WebStorm will tell me that they are being used, but anyway, I will delete them. And then I will remove from here and also remove the imports. So now if we check our application in the browser, we can see just this message, and I will change it to Meteor Wallet. That is the name of our project. Okay, so in the UI side, everything is okay. We have here this CSS. I will also delete that. We have the HTML. I will just put the correct name here, Meteor space wallet. Main JSX is fine. We also have the links collection that we want to use on this. So I will remove it and delete anyway. We can see that in the server main.js file, we were using this links collection to insert data. So we will remove the import and everything that we have here. And now it looks okay. So yeah, still working fine. Okay, I think now we are good to
Oh, sorry, guys. I
go.
was.
And the first functionality that we will create is managing contacts, because we are creating a digital wallet. And the main idea here is to be able to add money and also send money to our contacts. So we will start from creating our contacts. Let's start creating our form. So this is our main app component. And right here, I will create a form, and I don't need an action right now. Inside of a div, I will create a label for a field called name. And then inside of this, I will put the label name and an input of type text. And this will be the name. So I will just run our application because then we can develop it and test at the same time. So I will run it from here, Meteor, and I will open my browser in localhost port 3000. And yeah, we can already see a field right here. Okay, I will also give an ID to this field. And our contacts, they will have, let me just type here a comment. So our contact will have a name, an email, and an image URL. So then you can see their profile picture. So I will just do the same after this, creating a new div, another label, and this one will be for the email, and then email. Now the input, and right now in this case, it will be email and ID email. Okay, I always like to have a look if it's everything okay. And then the third one will be the image URL. We can copy and paste this, and then we can type less code. So this will be image URL. In this case, it is text ID image URL and the label image URL. Oops, let me go back. Yeah, it looks fine. And the last thing will be a button. So then you can submit these values to save it. And I will call it save contact. Let's see. Okay, it looks okay. It's not pretty for sure, but we will fix that. So let's go back here and I will start doing something because this is React, right? And we should create always small components to be able to compose them. So I will extract this to a new component. I will create a new file here called contact form.jsx. Then I will create here a new React component named contact form. And I will return it. Let me just cut it from here, our form, and I will paste it there. Okay. And now instead of putting that form here, I will just import that contact form. And WebStorm is helping me here because it is importing my component for me. Okay, so I will save and everything should be working fine, but it is not. So let's see what's going on. I will inspect and check the console in the browser, and we can see a error message here saying React is not defined. So the thing is, we created a React component called contact form, but we haven't import React right here. So I will do that from React and save it and check it again. Okay, let me clean this. And now it looks good. So we just refactored our code to use a new component and everything's okay. Right. So we are going to need to save those values. I mean, if I type here right now and try to do something, I will just put something here and try to submit. Nothing happens, right? So we submitted this form, but to where? We haven't defined what it should do when you click on the save contact. So let's do that. Let's define a method right here called save contact. And then when we click on the button, and I will just put this the type of button because I don't want to submit type button on click. It will call the function that I just defined. And for now, it's not doing anything because what you need to do is to take the value of each of those fields and then save it, right? So this is just React. So we are going to use React state and keep the values of each component. So the first one is name, and we will use the use state hook from React. And we are going to do the same for email and then set email. And also for the image URL, we are going to do the same and set image URL. And what we need to do is every time that we change the value of this field, and we will do the same for all the others, we are going to call a function that takes the value of the input and set to our React state. So in this case, set name e.target.value. And I will just do this so then it will be easier to us to see the function. And we need to do the same for all the other fields. So I'll just copy this and let me do the same for the input email. And the event will set the set email. It will call the set email function. And for the image URL, it's just the same. So let me organize it here. And then this one will be set image URL. All right, it looks good. So to check if this is working, I will call the save contact function. And for now, I will just print this in our browser, just print the values of the name, email, and image URL. So then you can see if it's everything working. Okay, just save it and I will open the browser and let's do a refresh so then I can see if there's any error here. So there's not. So I'll clean it up and put some details here. And I will just put something like PNG and save. Okay, it looks good. It is printing the data right here. We also can clean this field after we save the contact, but so far, so good. Let's go back to the editor, and after printing this, I will just clean all the values. I will just set empty string for each of them. So for the name, for the email, and for the image URL. Right, let's just test this. So let me go back to here and I will try it again and thread.png and save contact. It's not cleaning. Why not? Because we are taking the value and just printing it out, but we are not setting this value for the inputs. So what you need to do is to change the input and define its value as name. This one is the email, and the third one is the image URL. Okay, looks good. Let's test it again. thread.meteor.com and image URL just thread.png, and okay, it looks good. It is printing the data here and it is cleaning our fields. But now what you need to do is to send this to the backend. We need to save this in our database. And for that, we need to create a collection because we're going to save this in MongoDB, and we need to save this as a document in the MongoDB. So if you remember, we had before inside imports API, we had a file defining the collection, and we will create just the same. In this case, it will be called contacts collection.js. As we are going to use Mongo to define our collection, I will import it here from Meteor Mongo. And then we create a variable called contacts collection using new mongo.collection. And then we define which will be the name in the database. In this case, it will be contacts. Okay, so this is defined and it is exported. And as we know, MongoDB is a schemaless database. So we don't need to define which properties, which columns we are going to have in our document. So we can define just like this. We will see in other lessons that there's a way to create a schema and it is a good practice, but for now, we will leave that way. So let's go back there and we are going to,
Sorry, guys.
instead of just printing this, we need to send to the database, right? We need to save it. And to do that, we are going to import the contacts collection that we just created. We will call the function insert, and exactly the same thing that we were printing, I will copy and paste, and we will save in the database. Okay, do you think it's going to work? Seems too easy, right? Let's try it. So let's go back there to the browser, and I will just type the same values again, my name, email, and also URL, PNG, and save contact. Okay, it seems that we have an error. So it is saying that insert failed. Method contacts insert not found. So what happened here is we have to be aware of everything that we learned before. So we just declared a contacts collection and we are trying to use it right here in the front-end side, but we know that the database is in the server side. So Mongo will be in the server side, and we need to create this collection in our database. We need to go to our entry point in our server side. In this case, it is the main.js file. And even though we are not using that collection here, we will need to import it here, because if we don't, then Meteor will not load this file in the server side. And we need that Meteor does that, because then Meteor will create the collection inside MongoDB for us. We can even check before importing. We can open our NoSQL Buster, and we're going to see that we still don't have this contacts collection created. So we can see, and I will do a refresh. We have the links collection still because we started this app with the boilerplate and the links were there. We can even drop this collection, just doing this way, drop. And then Meteor needs to create also the contacts. So to do that, we are going to import our contacts collection. We can see that we are in the server folder and the contacts collection is in imports API contacts collection. So we need to go back one level. Let's do that. Import. Then we go back one level, then imports API contacts collection. Once you do that, Meteor will restart our server. And now this collection will exist on the server side. And when we call the insert, it should work. So let's try. Let's go back to the browser and try to add that data again and save contact. And it looks good. We don't see any error message. And we can check in the NoSQL Buster, refresh. Yes. So now Meteor created our contacts collection and we fetch the data. We can see that it is there. So it is very simple, right? Basically, after creating the React stuff, what we needed to do was to create the contacts collection and define it as a Mongo collection. We had to import it on the server side, and we just imported on the client, called insert, and pass the data. And I told you before that it's too good to be true, right? We will understand why we are able to do that, because if you think about it, we are on the client side and we are accessing our database. So this is actually good for prototyping, but we will see that it is not good for a real application. But for now, we will keep in that way, and our form, it is already working, and it is inserting the data in our database. Now, we need to list in our application the contacts that we are saving. So let's go back to WebStorm, and inside the app component, we can already remove this comment. Inside here, we will render another component to list our contacts. So let's start from there, creating a new file called contactlist.jsx. And again, this will be a React component. So I will start importing React from here, from React. Okay, so export const contact list, and then I will return and render just a simple message like list contacts or contact list. And I will put H3. Okay, so I'm just creating the component and I will import it here, contact list. Again, developing step by step and testing. So yeah, it is here, contact list, but I actually want to put this below the form. So let's check again. Yeah, it looks good. I will start by creating a static content so we will understand the structure that we are building. And we are basically creating a simple list with U, well, and li. And what I want to show first is the name of the contact and its email. That is my fake email. And I will just replicate this. And again, so 1, 2, and 3. And let's check on the screen. Yeah. So this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to create. Okay. So we need to create a variable. So I will just create a contacts array. And instead of showing that way, I will create a mapping. So I will use the contacts dot map. Then I will take each contact and I will map it to a new value that will be a li, and I will present the contact dot name and also the contact dot email. So this is what I want to do, and I will remove the static data now. But of course, this won't present anything on the screen because I just have a empty array right here. So to fetch this data, what do you think we need to do? So we saw before that to insert, we just imported the contacts collection and called the insert method. And we will do kind of the same way here. So we will import the contacts collection and we want to find any contact, and I will call the fetch method right here. So it is like this, but not exactly. Because if you remember when we saw the boilerplate code and we saw the links that were listed on the screen, we saw that when we changed something on the database, it was being changed in real time on the screen. So to do that, we need to use a resource from Meteor called tracker. Now, tracker is a tracking system, a Meteor library that will rerun a function or a computation when a source changes. So this is exactly what we need here. So what we want to do is to watch the database, and then if something changes there, we want to fetch that data again and render in the screen. So basically what you need to do is to call this function inside a use tracker hook. So we'll start it from here. And when you created our application using the Meteor boilerplate and the React boilerplate, this package was installed for us as well. So we just have to import from Meteor React, Meteor data, and then we have to call it here and call that function that is fetching the data inside this and return the result of it. So it is very simple to use and very powerful. But let's see if it's working right. Let's open our screen now. And we have a React error here because we are not using a unique key for our list. So let's do that. I will add a key to this item and I will use the email because the email will have to be unique, right? So I will put it here. Let's clear and refresh the screen. We actually don't need to refresh, but sometimes I do that. Okay, so we don't have any error and we can see that the data is here. So now if we insert something new, like a thread 2 on these fields, and we need to put at gmail.com and thread2.png and save it, look at that. It is working. So you can see that we are not, if you go back to the form, we are just inserting, right? And we can even remove this console log right now. And we are just inserting, we are not asking the database to fetch the data again. In the contacts list, we're just fetching this time. And like I explained before, the tracker is responsible for watching the database and then propagating the new data to the client side. And actually, tracker is like an interface because behind the scenes, we are using WebSockets and DDP, and we are going to understand this better in the next videos. So just to try another time because we did that with the boilerplate. So we have those two records here and I'm going to delete. Let's refresh the query here so we can see that they are in the database and I will do the same as we did in the boilerplate. So those two records are there. I will delete this first one. So remove document. Okay. And that's it. So look at this. It's not magic. It is Meteor itself using tracker, WebSockets, and DDP.
And what you guys think? Yeah, let me do the activity here. But yeah, projects and well, so the fun part is that because Fred did everything in the client side, nothing has changed for Meteor since then. Because you still can use if you're using the prototype thing. Let's see if I'm using like it's here. Yeah, if I try it today, it works, still works. Like you can do like in the client side or whatever. You can do yeah in the client side actually only in the client side. You can still use insert normally because we decided that this part shouldn't be affected. So like if we import links collection and do a dot insert here in the client side, it will work as it should. And I'm just doing like a quick like passing so that I'm not like spreading fake news on the internet, but I think I'm correct. So I'm just giving a quick spin here. And yeah, it's nice to know that even though it's going to be changing a lot, especially this part, this beginning part that you can insert in the client and do all sorts of things are still the same. So yeah, it's nice to know that that's still a thing and it's working. So yes, I'm using Meteor Publish, and yeah, it works as it should. Yeah, so this section is okay. That haven't brought any changes so far. So yeah, really good to know that we haven't changed this and this part is continue to be the same. So now we're gonna be understanding how to deploy on on Galaxy, and let's get started. If you guys have any questions, you can always ask. And yeah, I'm here for you guys. So let's go.
So now that we have a stable first version of our app, it's a good moment to deploy it. It's not a good idea to do that only at the end of your development. As soon as we do, it's better. So if you remember, we can deploy our Meteor apps to any Docker environment, to any Node.js server, and you can use the recommended way that's using Galaxy. So this is the way that we will follow on this lesson. Now, what is Galaxy? Galaxy is part of a service called Meteor Cloud. And Meteor Cloud is a full service cloud solution created for Meteor apps. And Galaxy is where we host our application. We deploy it and we can monitor it on Galaxy. So in this video, we are going to create a new repository on GitHub to keep our source code. And we are going to create a new account on Meteor Cloud. And from there, we will set up our app to be deployed. Before doing that, let me explain you something. We have here the project called Meteor Wallet, but in my case, I will go 2 levels up, and you can see that I have this starting with Meteor folder. Inside of it, I have 3 other folders, lesson 1, 2, and 3, and I have this structure just to make it easier for you. When you finish a lesson, you can just compare your code to mine, just going to the repository that we will create and check the final code of the lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and so on. So in your case, you can use just your project folder as the host of the GitHub repository. But in my case, I will use starting with Meteor, that is another folder. So let me clean this up and I will go to GitHub. I will create a new repository and it will be called starting with Meteor. I will leave the description blank for the moment. It will be public and I won't initialize with any of these options. I will just create the repository. As we have a new repository, we will follow those instructions. But in our case, we already have a few files. So I will just init the repository. I will add all the files that you have and I will commit our first commit. So let's go back here and I will run first git init. So our Git repository is initialized. I will add all the files. So git add dot and git commit, and I will add the comment first commit. Okay, so now we have to define our main branch that will be named main, and also associate our project to this repository. So we will add this remote origin. And finally, pushing. So git push to the origin main. All right, let's check. I will refresh my GitHub page. And yeah, it is there. So for the moment, we are inside this Meteor wallet, and this is our project. We are working now on the lesson 1 folder. So let's go to the Meteor cloud. It's meteor.com/cloud, and we will sign up and create a new account. And this is our project. We are currently on the lesson 1. So let's go to meteor.com/cloud, and I will sign up and create a new account. So to create a Meteor Cloud account, the best way is to use your GitHub account. But in my case, I want to show you how to create from scratch, so I will create a new one. I will define my username as Federico Maya new. Then I will use this other email and define a password. Let's create. Okay. Welcome to your Meteor Cloud dashboard. So let's go. There are a few instructions here. It's a good thing to follow and read everything. I already have done that. So if you click on continue, you can read a few instructions and now close the guide. So this is the Meteor Cloud dashboard. We can see a few useful information right here. My username, how many organizations I am in, how many apps we are hosting in Galaxy, how many apps are monitored by NPM, and also which packages, how many packages we are using from Atmosphere. So we are at the stage of deploy our application to Galaxy. So you can deploy from your machine manually. And to do that, we could go to our project folder and basically run the command meteor deploy. And we define the name of the app. And we can pass these two options, dash dash free and dash dash Mongo. In this way, we are creating a free account, so we don't have to pay anything. As you saw, we didn't have to put our credit card information and anything like that. So we could deploy our app, and we will deploy our app using a free account. And we also get a free MongoDB. This free server that Meteor provides us is not for real applications, but if you are just starting, it's a good way to do it. To deploy our app, we go to Applications, then click on Deploy New App. And we have to set up our GitHub to give access to Meteor Cloud. So I will set my personal account and set up Meteor Cloud on GitHub. I will select my account again. You can give access to all your repositories, but I will select just the one that I want, that is starting with Meteor, the project that we just created. All right, install and authorize. So this is setting up Meteor Cloud on our repository. Okay, it is here, so I can select now that I use this repository, go to the next step. For the moment, we are going to use this free account, so I don't have to add my card here or anything like that. And if you want, you can select other options, but you have to put your credit card first. We will use the free account. That is a tiny version, but it's more than enough for us to just test our applications. You can also select which region we want your servers. I will leave US East 1. If you are using a paid version, we could increase our memory run, but I don't want to do that. And it is asking which is the branch to deploy. We have just the main branch, so it is correct. And this is the option that will give us also MongoDB free for use. So I will leave that selected and I will click deploy app. All right, we have to provide a host name. So I will define this as Meteor wallet, and I will put dash Fred, because then when you are doing that, you can just do the same. You can define as Meteor wallet dash your name. So now deploy app, it is saving, and that's it. It's saying your app was successfully configured. So we can now check our app on Galaxy. Let's go to there. So when we finish that configuration, Meteor Cloud started this process. So we can see each step that is doing right here on this activity. We can see that one container is created already. And this loading means that our application is starting. We can just wait a little bit, and once it's finished, we will be able to access our app on this address. Oh, actually, I think our build failed, and I think I know the reason why. If you remember, we have a different structure in our project. So the host folder is not the Meteor project folder. So we have to tell Meteor that. So I will go back here to Meteor Cloud and I will edit my configuration. So if there's anything you have to change after you set up your project, you can just go back in Meteor Cloud and edit from here. In my case, I want to change the root folder. It is here on advanced options, and in my case will be lesson 1 slash Meteor wallet. So if you have a different structure like this, you can just add this information right here. And I will click deploy app again. And let's go to Galaxy. And now I hope that it will be okay. So this was the message we saw before that the build failed. Now there is new changes in the push to deploy, and then our build is in the queue, and now the build is started again. So let's wait for it to be finished.
Sometimes it takes a while to build the the first time, I think, or something like this, and it started.
All right, I think our app is up and running. So we can access this address and we can actually just click here and check if it is okay. Oh yeah, we can see our app. Let's check if it is working. So I will put Fred from Galaxy, then this email, and then a URL for our image. Save contact. Yeah, it's working. So you can actually just access right now this address and you'll be able to see this app working. So this is really cool. It was so easy. We just set up our GitHub repository and Meteor Cloud and Galaxy did all the rest. We have very useful information right here, but in other modules, we are going to explore more Galaxy and Meteor Cloud itself. So with that, we can just check if Galaxy is working fine. So I will just change something in our code. It might be this. So let's put Meteor wallet and I will add Galaxy from here. So I will commit this change, git commit, and I will put add Galaxy to the title. Oh yeah, we need to do a git add and then git commit and then git push. All right, let's see if Galaxy will recognize that and build and deploy our app again. So we can check right here on this activity. This new commit will trigger a new deploy. And yeah, it is there. So build is started for commit. So now it is very easy to deploy new versions of our app. We basically push our changes and Galaxy will do the rest. So at least in the end of each lesson, we're going to deploy to keep our application up to date on Galaxy. And basically that means we're going to push our code to our GitHub repository.
So, what do you guys thought of this lesson? I think it's nice and it's changed a lot. We can do like I can do this one day. Like I gotta see if the team if they want to do this, but like we can do like show how it is today because it haven't changed much, but it have changed a bit. So we could it would be nice to have like a tour or like a quick tour, a quick guide into how to use Meteor Cloud because nowadays it's better. I'm sure we're always working to be even better, but compared to the time, I think it's better in a way that we can. It's I think it's easier to deploy because now it has like a big red button, and I think somewhere here it's like
It's fine. This
when
is
we
the Meteor Cloud dashboard. We can see
yeah now like how can you deploy a new app here? You gotta use the deploy to Galaxy, but how would you deploy using GitHub? Like this is the thing that I would change in this lesson. Is like
a few useful information right here. My username, how many organizations I am in, how many apps we are hosting in Galaxy, you can deploy from our app, and we will deploy our app using a free account. And we our app, we go to applications
So
using a free account.
so for deploy a new app, it's like it's the thing that you should be doing, and nowadays it's different. But like
And we also get a
this is
free
really nice. Yeah.
MongoDB. This free server that Meteor provides us is not.
So
Then click on deploy new
click
app.
and deploy.
And we have to set up our GitHub to give access to Meteor Cloud.
And I think this is the same.
So I will set my personal account and set up Meteor Cloud on GitHub. I will select my account.
So like this is the thing that I found it to be weird. I'm gonna do again. This is that as I mentioned, like I had to set up two times the the GitHub connection. Hello, Rodrigo. How are you doing? I'm doing I'm running the stories of the Meteor University and checking what should be updated for Meteor 3 and what it should be like different since Meteor 2.5. That was when it was recorded. So yeah, I'm doing this like what is needs to be changed for Meteor 3, what needs to be changed now because it's already outdated. And yeah, I'm fine. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I'm fine too. Thanks for asking as well. And yeah, so that's what we are doing today. We finished this lesson, and I was like seeing what changed from Galaxy today since that this when this was recorded. For example, if we open dashboard, I think if we open the dashboard from the dashboard from Meteor, the thing that here is like I guess it's Galaxy Cloud. Yeah, I'm always yeah, I think it's dash. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, if I open dashboard, I think it's like a big button to. Yeah, let me get the my codes just so that I can see it and be sure that I'm not. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm getting some pin codes, so that's why you cannot see it. What's it? Find it. Yes, this code here. So, plans for you to return to classes at because so my plan from what we talked internally is to update the classes, try to update a few try to update the classes like when we see like this example like for now I think it's okay. And like I was mentioning, I think I only saw in the session of 2 hours, I only saw one thing that it needs to be changed, but isn't not even related to Meteor 3, but actually a change that we did in the Meteor 2.10. So for now it's okay, but I think when we are like in the later sections of the university, when the classes and the lessons are becoming more like back end focused, then I think is gonna be needed some like updating and even so like re-recording, like remaking them as you mentioned. So I'm I'm just like scouting the area and trying to see what is gonna be needed or not. And so yeah, and you guys are with me now learning. And for example, this we saw like how it was before the dashboard, but if you open today the Meteor dashboard, the cloud.meteor.com, the main page, it's gonna see like there is like a big button saying yeah deploy a new app, and you start with the push to deploy. So now I feel like today is a change, and I feel like the today's change, or where is that today, is even better. For example, for Galaxy, so it's really nice. I don't think it needs to be changed, but I'm not sure. Like I would change because I think today is even easier. So the video could be smaller, and for the person that's watching and has some less time, spending 14 minutes isn't so nice. as it could be like 5 minutes, because today is even easier because the UI is quicker. You can just like click and within like 5 minutes you have your app running. So this is one example. So let's continue here. We have deployed to Galaxy. What is Galaxy hosting? It explains to us. Yes, good. So in the next section, he already updates the meter and starts using CSS, tailwind CSS. So probably he will do so. So let's see. So just a heads up. I'm gonna be like doing this session, this last episode, and I guess we're gonna call it a day. I'm sure that for many of you this was like not so exciting, but it's good to have like I'm watching this content. I would be watching anyway, but it's nice to watch with you guys and we can answer other questions. So yeah, I think it was worth it. So let's watch this session. Let's discuss if we're gonna be needing to change some of it, and later on we're gonna be. I will try to like do like pinpoint in the points that I'm gonna be doing again. And so yeah, without further rambling, let's continue.
Hey, so our app is working, right? But it's not pretty, is it? We could try to do something. So if you go to WebStorm, we could see like the elements that we are using, and we could start trying to style them. So let's say that you want to change the color of the fonts. So we could choose something like dim gray, and yeah, maybe for the H1, we could give a different color like dark blue, and we could try to add some padding. Yeah, so we could do that. Meteor is ready for this. We can put the CSS here and Meteor will apply them. And Meteor is actually compatible with SAS, with Less, and the Meteor build tool already compile, bundle, minifies our assets. So Meteor is ready for that. But our focus is not CSS on this course, and also creating CSS from scratch, we would spend a lot of time. So what we will do is to use something really cool called Tailwind CSS. Right, so what is Tailwind CSS? From the website, you can see that we use Tailwind to build modern websites without leaving our HTML. So we can see some examples here. So when you are using Tailwind, instead of applying the CSS changes like we were just doing, we would apply some utility classes directly in the HTML. So that's a new approach, and you may like it or not. I like it. And so I will provide you all the elements styled already with all the classes, so you don't have to worry with that. And you just can have a look at the Tailwind website if you don't know it. And we will also use a few components from the Tailwind UI. So Tailwind CSS is the base of Tailwind, and Tailwind UI, we can use some ready-to-use components. And those components are created by the Tailwind team. So the same company is behind both of them. So let's go back there and remove that CSS. And then we can go to the Get Started in the Tailwind website, to the installation page, and we can follow this process right here, but we also have a few commands, a few packages that we have to add and remove from Meteor. So I will provide you all the commands and we will install and set up Tailwind CSS in our project. So just to recap, we can see the packages that we have installed in our project. If we look at the package.json, so we can see the dependencies that we have. And we also have dependencies from Meteor itself. So if you go to the .meteor and packages, we can see a few packages that we have here. And those packages are installed from Atmosphere. If you want to take a look and find other packages from Meteor, we could go to atmosphere.js.com and we have many packages right here. We can see the trending ones or the recent ones. So there are many packages from Meteor. And why do we have two ways of installing packages in Meteor? So first, when Meteor was created, npm was not that used like it is today. So we had a few options to install packages, and Meteor created its own way of installing packages. And then npm became the most used package manager for Node.js apps. So today, if you want to install some package that depends on something internal from Meteor or it depends on another Meteor package, that package will be here in Atmosphere.js. But if it's a JavaScript package, it's not related to Meteor, so you will find it in npm. So we can use both. So that's a good thing, right? We have many packages in Atmosphere and a lot of others in npm. So let's move forward and install Tailwind CSS in our application. We will go to the terminal. I will use the terminal from WebStorm. Let me clean this up. And I will copy and paste the command right here. And I will provide these comments for you, so do not worry. And what we are doing here is meteor npm install. So this is the first thing that you have to pay attention. And in my case, it's already installed. So let's understand it. We are using meteor before the npm command. This is important because this way, Meteor will use the NPM version bundled with Meteor itself. So it's the recommended way to use Meteor before your NPM commands. So what we did here, we installed PostCSS. That is a CSS processor that we need to use. We installed the PostCSS load config, so you'll be able to configure the PostCSS and auto prefixer. So this is another thing that if you were doing the CSS by ourselves, we would have in a few cases to add the prefixes from the engines, from the browsers. So using Tailwind CSS and Post CSS and auto prefixer, we don't have to do this kind of things. So Tailwind is installed, and we also need to remove a package from Meteor, and we could remove just going here and removing from the packages file itself. That is an option, but I will remove it using the command line. So I am typing meteor remove standard minifier CSS. So like I mentioned before, Meteor has this all kind of tools inside of it. So to not have any conflict, because we will use both CSS and Tailwind, we will remove the full package from Meteor, and we will install a new one that is compatible with PostCSS. So we are adding this package, Meteor add, Julian circle, PostCSS, okay? And now we are going to configure the PostCSS. So we can go here in our host folder and create a new file called postcssrc.js. So this is the file that we are going to configure our PostCSS. Let me just, it will work. And the way I use data and save it, oh, okay, now it's working fine. Starting to understand that.
So I'm gonna stop this because yeah, we will be spending a lot of time, and yeah, for those that are using Meteor today, they know, or like they are aware that
Use class name and
we have an option to use. Like that's the fun part. If you open the Tailwind CSS page today and you go to get started and you search for um, let's see, framework somewhere, frameworks, yeah, if you go there, and I'm gonna send you the links here. Uh, Hopefully we send the link. We have the Meteor. Wait, just a second. No, they changed it, but that's okay. So let me. Yeah, we are in in their in their in their guide, and for example, if you look up here on the CLI or somewhere, I think it's like Tailwind, something like this. Let's see here on the Meteor create. You can pass on the Meteor create. You can pass the Tailwind, uh, and that would in the future. I hopefully or like if I could change this guide, I would change it from like showing what is tailwind and then like or for example we would start or because at the time it wasn't so famous tailwind but nowadays like everyone or almost everyone knows a little bit what is it tailwind, so that's okay as well. uh I would start like by just like yeah we're gonna be creating a project using tailwind and then people were like okay I know what is tailwind and we could just like start using it. And I know that it might seem like yeah why you want to save 9 minutes, but this for a person that's like starting is gonna be like confusing because they're gonna see like I did all by myself the part of the tailwind when I could just like run Meteor create with tailwind and it would
And I
have.
cannot say either. Okay, yeah. Now with a
Let's
refresh, it
continue.
is working. But let's see, if you really need a refresh, I will put gray back and save it. Oh, okay. Now it's working fine. So yeah, that's really cool. Tailwind is working. And now we will style our application and make it prettier. Okay, the first thing I want to do is create a kind of header to replace this. And the way I use Tailwind is if we go to the Tailwind UI, I just log it in with my account. And it's important to understand that Tailwind CSS itself, it's free. But if you want to use Tailwind UI, you have to buy a license. But we can use on this course without any problems. So I want to add a header. So let me just go to the homepage after logged in. So we can see many ready to use examples right here. And I want to use a header. So if I look for this right here, header sections and elements. So I want to use a header element. And to get to know the elements that you have, you just have to explore this page. So I will use these headers and I will use the last one right here. That is a very simple one. So Tailwind UI shows you the elements and an example of how it looks like. You can see the preview and also you can see the code and just copy paste from here. You can also change, and Tailwind UI has also a Vue.js version and also HTML. So if you're using Blaze or if you're using Vue, you can still use Tailwind. So in our case, it is React. So I actually copied this code already and changed it a little bit, and I will just provide the code for you. So let's go back to WebStorm, and what I'm willing to do is to remove this and create a header component. So I will delete this, and I will go now to the import UI, and I will create a new file called header.jsx. And now I will copy the code that I have here and paste it. So you can see, I will just adapt this. So then you can keep the pattern that we are using. So actually export const header, and then we use an arrow function. All right, so my header is defined, and you can have a look, you can explore the code that you have. We are defining background color, indigo, and then there are a few options when you are using a color with Tailwind. So you're using this option right now, and we are defining the widget, the auto margin, pagings, and things like that. We are defining that this element is a flex element, and we are defining here a page of a logo. So you can explore a little bit. It is very similar to the vanilla CSS. So most of the things you can read it and you can understand what it's doing. So like here, it is center. So, okay, if you see, I am using a logo right here, but we don't have any logo yet in our project. And we will also learn something new right now, because what we want to do is to serve something like an image as a public asset. So we are going to create another special folder here called public. So everything that we have on this folder will be served by Meteor as a public asset. I will create a images folder just to organize it a little bit, and I will copy and paste my logo right here. So, okay, we have our logo, and now in the app component, I will import this header, and let's see how is that. if we go back to our app, oh, it looks better, right? So I think we're improving now. Let's keep going and improve our form. Okay, now we go to Tailwind UI again. And if I am trying to use some nicer form, we can find it right here. So we have form layouts. We can have a look at the samples and you can explore and find what you like the most and just use it. So in our case, I will just, again, provide the code for us. So basically it will keep the same, but we will have Tailwind CSS classes in our HTML elements. So I will just paste the code right away. You can see that the React and Meteor part, it remains the same, but now we have many classes from Tailwind. So let's see, I didn't save it yet, so we can compare. So this is how our form is right now. So we cannot even see the inputs. And I will go here to the contact form and save it. Meteor will refresh. And yeah, it looks better, right? Now we can see the inputs, name, email, image, URL, and the button also is more clear. Now I want to improve this because you can see that our components that they are using the whole screen and it doesn't look that good. So to do that, we will go to WebStorm and we need to change something in the body, in the main HTML body. We need to add a class from Tailwind here. And on this case, this is HTML, right? It's not React. So you use class. When you are in a React component, then you have to use class name. So this is the first thing that I have to add. And then I will go to the imports API. No, sorry, UI app JSX. And I need to add something else here that is this code. So I added two divs wrapping our elements with a few Tailwind CSS classes. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, now it is better. The last one is the contact list. So I will go to the contact list component and I will replace this with the code that I already have. And again, you can see that is just HTML with a bunch of CSS classes. We're still using the contacts, iterating over it, and creating other elements. So let me save it. And if we check now, it looks good, but we have these management contacts that I think we don't need that. So I will remove it. Okay, it looks better. And you can see that this image is broken, but the reason is because I just added a fake URL in my record here. So we can edit and put something real. There's a website that we can use that is called randomuser.me. And you can just take any picture from here. I will take, I don't know, the first one right here, copy the image address. I just want to replace so you can see a real image in our screen. So I save it. When I click on edit on NoSQL Buster in a specific record, it creates automatically a query that you can run. So I am just editing the data and I'm pressing Command Enter, and then we can see that it ran. And if we go back to our application, oh, now it looks pretty. So we can add a new person right here, a new contact, and I will actually take, oh, sorry, I'll actually take someone from here because we can already take the name and let's go there. So this is the name and I will just adapt this. So we have some email at gmail.com and I will fix the first letter right here and I will copy this image address and save it. Oh, it looks good. So yeah, I think our application is getting much better now. So Tailwind CSS is really cool. I really recommend you to look a bit deeper on it and use it in your projects.
So for those that watched, I think this content, this section is still up to date. I I would change the part to use the default like the Meteor Creative Tailwind, but if the person doesn't want to, doesn't matter because he creates everything maintains the same. And I think it's really good because you start with like the whole scratch application that you created, like the really like the full one, and then at the end in 20 minutes you have like a beautiful code with like a beautiful like application with a lot of code that's tailwind code and it's readable and yeah, it's really nice. So yeah, I thought it to be really fun. This thing, let's see, Fred. Yeah, he gave us Yeah, and it was updated. Like as Meteor.7 configuration is much simpler. You just previous it up, you just commit and push, and it will work. Uh, let's see. Yeah, previous expressions. You can just don't use this and use the blog post, and it will work. So, and it was even Fred that did this blog post. So yeah, really nice. Exactly. So as you can imagine, it's becoming more easier to use many tools like Tailwind, and it was updated. So that's nice. Well, guys, was a really nice having you all here. So if you guys loved, please consider subscribing to us. Please send following us on Twitter, following us on LinkedIn, following us on our socials. Let me get my social as well. So if you all want to follow me there as well, you can always see me here on Meteor in this GitHub link that I'm going to be sending you. Let me get my profile here on Twitter as well. So here are my socials. These are both of my socials. You can always follow me there and keep up to the latest Meteor news in general. So was really, really nice having you all here. Hope to see you again soon. Next Friday, I think we're gonna be seeing each other again. Um, so from what we, so just a quick recap. Um, what we done today was going through the Meteor University section. We almost ramped to the whole first section too. We're 28% on the whole course, so we've done a lot. Um, that's what we've done today. We've done a little bit of not renting, but reviewing what we've done before, and maybe we can check with the team if we can add here this revision that I've made. And yeah, I think those are the key points of my live stream today. So if you guys have any questions and any doubts, you can always send us here. Send me on whenever you like, or on our Slack, on our Discord, on our Twitter, anywhere you want. You can send us. Um, for those that want to do the university, here is the link. It's this one. You can always go there and do it. It's still relevant from what I'm seeing. I don't think I can send the links on chat. Just a second. Let me ask for the mods. I've asked them. Let's see if there is any other link that's relevant for our live stream today. I think was this one the most relevant one. Thank you for participation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for asking how I'm going. That's really nice. If you want to see what's the next sessions, follow us on Twitter. And yeah, please subscribe and follow us on our socials, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn. Let me see if it works. The iSocial. Yeah, I don't think it works, but yeah, follow us on the social medias. I'm gonna be sending here. Yeah, I sent the medias, and yeah. So nice talk to you all. Fine, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.